Happy Halloween. Good morning. 97.1. You made it to Friday. Mentioned we had an update on the Tarik Skubal front. Mm-hmm. This is from John Heyman, who had the initial report that the two sides were $250 million apart. John, he says the Tigers' offer, hard to believe, was 4 years and $80 million.
Does he give a specific timeline
of when that offer was made?
Right. Because if he's going back to, and I got to believe, if he just says last year, all right, was this offer made before Tarik Skubal won his first Cy Young, before last season, before the 24 season? Because he could be using semantics here.
Right.
And it was made last year. Okay, well, was that in December of last year, or was it in January
of that year? Yeah. John, I guess I don't know if it's true, and I'll stress if it's true, because you know how this is going to go. This is going to turn into a PR battle. If it's true, the Tigers are out of touch, because it's a laughably, embarrassingly bad offer for a player of Tarik Skubal's caliber. It's a non-serious, rinky-dink minor league offer.
Okay,
if it's true.
If it's true. All right, so let me ask you this. If it's true that they offered this prior to the season, because what did they do with Cole Keith, right? They gave him the minor league contract and they wrapped him up for 6 years.
Yeah.
If they were trying to get ahead because they knew what they had, or they anticipated they knew what they had, and they were trying to sign him for 4 years and get him wrapped up before he even won a Cy Young, let alone two, do you think it's rinky-dink if they offered it to him going into last year when they didn't have to?
Cole Keith got a 6-year deal. 4's a little weird, where you want a guy to buy out 2 years of arbitration in exchange for 2 years of free agency. That's not how things work. And you're going to ask a guy to take well below market value and give up prime years. You wait forever to hit free agency in Major League Baseball. It's been well documented. Scott Boras is your agent. Not even to offer $100 million for a player Tarik Skubal's caliber? And again, all we're getting is what we believe is the Boras Skubal camp.
Right.
The Tigers are more than welcome to leak to any friendly reporters that they'd like to try to counter this narrative, because the narrative looks like they're cheap.
But do they care about the narrative?
Maybe they don't.
I mean, they obviously have their plan in place. And whether that is, hey, we're going to offer them whatever it takes to keep them, or maybe their plan all along was we'll get what we can out of him, and then before he hits his last year of arbitration, we'll trade him.
Is that where your head's at right now?
I kind of think that's where I don't think that the Tigers are going to give him a record contract. And I don't know that they should. And I'm curious as well, because it's such a unique situation. And a lot of Tigers fans' minds were, you got to keep Skubal no matter what. And then the seventh inning of Game 5 happened. And I think there's a lot of people that looked at that and said, over one inning, we don't want him anymore. And
right or wrong, I agree with you. I think a lot of people have held that up as a turning point.
And this is where we don't know what is fact. Well, all we have to go off of is the eye contact that AJ looked deep into the eyes of Tarik Skubal and knew before that 6th inning that he only had 1 inning left. Go give us everything you've got, Tiger, and then we're going to take you out. Like, I don't know what to believe.
And I know people have speculated, is this like a behind-the-scenes agreement between the organization and the agent? Hey, you're not going to throw my guy out there for 120 pitches. You're not going to do it before you make a significant commitment to him. I don't know. I mean, it's led people to speculate because it was so jarring. Like, whoa, this guy's pitching one of the great games in postseason history.
And his last pitch was over 100 miles an hour.
And maybe that was the last of it that he had. But you want to go down with him trying to make people swing. Go down swinging with him, throwing swing and miss stuff, because the alternative is Finnegan comes in and gives up a hit and a walk, and now you're deep into the bullpen and you give up the lead and you're going into a 15-inning
battle.
Battle, right.
And here, okay, so if he had pitched the 7th inning, we have no idea. Does it play out the same way?
Maybe.
It might.
And if it does, I don't know
I think we're all looking at it going, I would rather lose with Tarik Skubal on the mound than anyone else.
I don't think people would hold it against him if he came out for the 7th and gave up a couple hits or a hit and a walk and got pulled.
Agree.
They go, all right, he gave him everything he had. And that's what the team has said he did. He gave him everything he had. It just didn't have enough left in the tank to go out for another inning.
So that brings up the next thing. Like, okay, if he doesn't have enough,
is he worth it?
Yeah.
Here's what I think's going to happen. And I don't have any sources. I'm not buddies with Scott Boras or Scott Harris. I think they're going to keep Tarik Skubal for next year, and they're going to play out the season. I think they're going to do enough in their mind to justify keeping him. They're going to add something, and in their mind, it will be enough to justify taking a run at the World Series with him. That's what I think is going to happen, and I think they will lose him for nothing.
So it's a one-shot. So if that's the path you think they go, how much are they willing to spend on the roster this year?
Not as much as we want them to, but enough to make them feel good about it.
I think it sets up for a Bregman-type contract offer to a free agent from last year. So you overpay a one-year deal. One of those free agents that's looking just to pop a big one-season contract and be a free agent still. That's what this sets up for, to keep Skubal. I don't believe this report. I think it's crap.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think Scott Boras, for the second time, has planted something in the last 3 weeks out in the media because he's trying to gear this thing to get a trade for the winter meetings, which are a month away. You're seeing outlandish reports come out. You saw the first one was a replant from last year with the 250 difference.
Right.
You know, he is aggressively trying to get this out there to try to force a trade at the deadline. We have no idea what the Tigers want to do. The only other thing here, if you want to be a conspiracy theorist, is that the Tigers planted this, and they're planning this out there to try to get Skubal to walk away from Boras, which people have done recently.
Cal Raleigh being the latest and greatest example of that. Boras has not delivered on all of his clients the way that he may have promised. Yeah, I mean,
I don't believe that either.
That's some tinfoil to that. But sure, I mean, while we're just a couple dudes talking.
This isn't, I can't believe the Tigers would do this. Jim, you nailed it. It just would be Bush League. Rinky-dink is the word.
Right. If he wins a Cy Young award and they offer him 4 for $80, like, no, I don't believe it either.
This starts with him being the highest paid pitcher annually in baseball,
which would be north of $40 million a year.
Yeah,
not
it's like
20.
I don't care who you are, whether you're Scott Boras or Scott Harris. It starts there. He's the best pitcher in baseball.
How about this ticket text? It's from Mac in Detroit. He says, guys, they gave Alex Cobb $15 million. You really think they only offered Tarik $20? Be better, Heyman. This can't be true.
Yeah, and okay, so let's go back to your guy, Ken Maeda. What was he making?
Too much money.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
it was like $11 million, something like that.
Yeah, $11 million a year, and it's a great point. Like, you know, Cobb, who never had one pitch for the Tigers this year, they're going to offer him 15 to entice him out of retirement, and a guy that just won the Cy Young. And we all thought going into the season was going to win another and probably will, that they're going to offer him $20 a year. No, it doesn't make any sense. I don't believe this report at all, unless they're going back to prior to the season.
Essentially almost 2 years ago.
Right.
Yeah. Guys, the offer was fake by Scott Boras to start a mud fight, Ben in Ann Arbor. My theory, the ploy is to get Harris to defend himself and say what was really offered to set the floor for negotiations with other teams. Jason at home. Skubal took himself out of the game and the season was on the line. Winners don't do that. He's not worth it. See, that's also, John, to your point, part of the swirling conversation.
We want the guy that's going to be on the mound and the AJ goes out and they're screaming from the mound, I'm not coming out. Like, there's a confrontation. I'm not coming out. I'm going to be out here to win this game. We saw it with Scherzer. That is what Tigers fans want.
248-539-9797. We got the cookie jar coming up in the 7 o'clock hour. Some Halloween fun. It's 97.1.